Good morning, year 2. First, I want to start by correcting some questions you had in your collective sheet. We had this question. We had two clocks with no hands, and I have a time shown below each clock. So I want to draw the hands of the clock. The first clock, it's 5:30. 30 means it's half past. So the long hand, the minutes hand, will always be pointing to 6. Yes. What about 5? 5:30 means that it was 5 o'clock and the clock moved half an hour. So it's 5:30. It's exactly between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. It's in the middle. So I draw the hand of the hours pointing here in the middle. It's 5:30. So it's not 5 and it's not 6. It's 5:30. It's in the middle between 5 and 6. So I draw it pointing to here in the middle between 5 and 6. The same way here, 8:30. 30, so I will draw my hand, my minutes hand pointing to 6 because it's half past. It's 8:30, so it's between 8 o'clock and, yes, 9 o'clock. It will be pointing here. 8:30 means it was 8 o'clock. The hands are moving until we reach the middle here, 8:30, half past 8. So we are halfway between 8 and 9. So I draw the hand of the hour hand, the shorter one, pointing between 8 and 9. This next one, we are making holes. Here I have half. Half and what make one hole? Yes, half and half. Here I have a quarter shaded. This quarter, if I add to it 3 quarters, I will make one hole. What about here? Here I have 2 quarters shaded, but we took together that 2 quarters are exactly the same as 1/2. Super. So half and half make one whole. Here I have 3 quarters shaded. What do I need to make one whole? 3 quarters and 1 quarter make one whole. Let's start our lesson today. It's about dividing shapes into halves. What does this mean? I will divide the shape into 2 parts that are equal. This means the shape is 2 halves. I have here some shapes. It's resource pack page 36. After we finish solving it together, you can go and solve it alone to practice and then check your answer from the video. Okay, the shape that is not divided into 2 halves, I will cross it out. The shape that is divided into 2 halves, I will circle it. Let's start by this rectangle. Is it divided into 2 halves? No, they are 3 parts, so I will cross it out. What about this star? Yes, I have 2 equal parts, so I have 2 halves, so I will circle it. This shape, I have 4 parts, so they definitely are not halves. I will cross it out. This square, it is divided into 2 parts that are equal, so it is divided into 2 halves. What about this circle? Actually, it is divided into 2 parts, but are they equal? No, I have this part, it's very small, and this part is very big. So they are not halves because they are not equal. This heart, yes, I have here 2 halves. You remember this shape? It has 5 sides. What do we call it? Pentagon. Yes, super. It is divided into 2 equal parts, so it is divided into 2 halves. I will circle it. What about this oval? It is divided into 3, not 2, so I don't want it. I will cross it out. This triangle is divided into 2 halves. What about this oval? 2 parts are equal, so they are 2 halves. This shape is divided into 3, so they are definitely not halves. This shape like a flower, it is divided into 2 parts and they are equal, so they are halves. This semicircle also is divided into 2 halves. This flower is divided into 3 parts, so I will cross it out. What about this shape? 2 equal halves. I will circle it. And this star, it's divided into 3 parts, not 2, so I will cross it out. Let's solve together. Resource pack, page 40. Here I have some shapes. Each shape I have some, each shape first is divided into fractions, equal parts. And I have some parts shaded. So I want to write the fraction that represents the shaded part. For example, the first shape, this rectangle, I have 4 parts and 1 part is shaded. How do I write it as a fraction? At the top, I write the number of the parts that are shaded, which is 1. This 1 is the number of parts shaded. The number at the bottom is the total number of parts that are shaded and not shaded. I will count all the parts. How many parts do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is 1 over 4. What about this triangle? I have 2 shaded parts, so I put 2 at the top. And the total number of parts is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put 4 at the bottom. So it is 2 over 4 or 2 quarters. This circle, I have 3 shaded parts. So I put 3 at the top. What is the total number of parts? It's 4. Can you read this fraction? Yes, 3 quarters. 3 over 4 or 3 quarters. Let's go to the next shape. I have 1 shaded part, so I put 1 at the top. What is the total number of parts, all the parts together? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put 4 at the bottom. It is 1 over 4 or 1 quarter. This triangle is divided into 4 equal parts. So I have 1 shaded part. I will put 1 at the top. And then I will count the total number of parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will put 4 at the bottom. How can I read this fraction? It's 1 over 4 or 1 quarter. This semicircle, in this semicircle, I have 3 parts shaded, so I put 3 at the top. What is the total number of parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, so I put 4 at the bottom. Can you read this fraction? Yes, 3 over 4 or 3 quarters. I have in this rectangle 2 shaded parts, so I will put 2 at the top. And then I will count all the parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put 4 at the bottom. This fraction is 2 over 4 or 2 quarters. The last shape, I have 1 shaded part, so I will put 1 at the top. And how many parts do I have all in all? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put 4 at the bottom. This fraction is 1 over 4 or 1 quarter. Okay, your homework is resource pack, page 35. What do you need to do here? You have here some shapes of fruits. For each one, you will draw a line to divide the fruit into 2 equal parts, 2 halves. And you will color 1 half green. And you will write the fraction here that you colored, it's half. So for example, this strawberry, I will make a line to divide it into 2 halves. So I will draw a line like this. And then you color this part, one part of the 2 green. What is this colored part? It is half. It is 1 over 2. So you write it here. What about this part of a piece of watermelon? I will divide it into half. How? I will draw a line through the middle. So now I have 2 parts that are equal. Color one of these parts. This colored part, how do I write it in fraction? It is 1 part of 2 parts. So I will write here inside this box 1 over 2. And you complete the page in the same way.